Hey, what's going on, guys? James here, bringing you another YouTube video, and this one is a very, very, very unique video. And this is I'm currently in a school again. I've done that a few times, and the reason this video is very, very, very unique, or how many times I said very, I don't know, is because it's not something I do at all on this channel, and that's because one of my favorite bands of all time is the band 3 Days Grace, and I've listed, or I've done some research and found every single officially released song that they've done that's either live, a cover, or an acoustic song. Of course, and I say officially released, meaning that you can actually go out and buy it. It's not something that they just did like a special 1 or 2 time, like maybe a thing they do on tour for a live song. No, it's actually something that you can buy officially released. And that's how I did this. There are 16 tracks that fall into the mold. There will be some overlapping between the categories, but it's pretty alright. So, and I have 3 categories: live, cover, and acoustic. I already said that, but we're going to start off with live songs. My favorite live songs are 5 in this category, so let's do it. Sitting at the number 5 spot, what I consider to be the worst 3 Days Grace live song that's been officially released, Painkiller Live. Need a fix when you fall down. I don't know what it is, but when I was listening to all the songs to do the research for this video, for whatever reason, I just could not get into Painkiller Live. I love the song Painkiller. It's a very good song with Matt on vocals, but I just don't like it. Or the officially released version that's live, I don't like. Maybe they do it a lot better now. I don't know. But that's number 5. Now sitting at number 4 for the second to last spot, or not, whatever. Sitting at number 4 on this list is Let You Down Live. The officially released live version of Let You Down from the first album, sung by Matt in this case. I definitely found this officially released version of the live Let You Down a lot better than Painkiller. I really did enjoy it. Is it better than the original though? Not a chance. The original is just a really solid song, and just because it's number 4 on the list doesn't mean that it's a bad rendition of Let You Down, but the other 3 songs on this list are... The other 3 songs will, they're just better. But Let You Down is sitting at number 4. Now sitting at number 3, we have the live acoustic version of I Hate Everything About You. I hate everything. And now this version, if you look it up on YouTube, it's slated as the Rolling Stone version or something like that. The live acoustic version of this song actually sounds rather similar to the studio recording, with the biggest difference coming with Adam's vocals. You can tell that with his vocals alone, it is an acoustic song, and it definitely works. It's a good song. If I had to pick the live acoustic version over the original, I would pick the original, but it is a solid rendition of I Hate Everything About You. Now at number 2, we have the live acoustic version of Drown. If I needed someone to control me, if I needed someone to... This song from the first album, when I first listened to Drown, it was for the research being done for the 3 Days Grace retrospective that Tyson and I will do. He still needs to listen to some of the albums, but we will get started on that. But I will say, when I was doing the research on my end and I heard Drown for the first time, I did not like it. It was the one song on the self-titled album that I just didn't click with me. But when doing some more research, and I found out that there was a live acoustic version of Drown, I listened to that, and I really liked it, and that's actually turned my opinion on the studio version of Drown completely around, and I actually like that song now as well. So that's why it's sitting at number 2. The live acoustic version is a really solid version of the album. I will probably put a link in the description to where you can find it, or at least where I found it, so you can give it a listen as well. And yeah, it completely changed my mind on the studio recording of Drown, so that's why it's sitting at number 2, with only one song that I consider better of the live songs. But number 1, here we go. It is the Alice in Chains cover of Rooster. To stop the rooster. Now this song is a rather controversial one to put in this slot because technically, from the research I've gathered, it's not actually a 3 Days Grace live song or cover, but it's only Adam. But the thing is, you can actually officially buy it on a special DVD thing with 3 Days Grace Live at the Palace. I believe it came out 2008 or something like that, and it has Rooster in it. So that's why it's sitting in this list. And if you have not heard it, I might put a few seconds of it in this video, but it's a very, very solid cover. And the song Rooster for me, see, I grew up listening to a lot of what my dad listened to. Little story time here. I grew up listening to a lot of what my dad listened to. What he listened to was a lot of 80s, 70s and 80s, just rock. He really loved the hair metal, the hair band stuff, especially stuff like Motley Crue. So I grew up listening to that. But something that my mom actually really likes is grunge. I know she really likes Nirvana. She's a huge fan of Alice in Chains. And one of the earliest songs that I actually have fond memories of listening to is Rooster. I just remember being a very, very little kid, probably still in a car seat at the time, and my mom had a greatest hits CD of Alice in Chains, and it had Rooster on it, of course. And I just remember sitting in the car, back seat, freaking very little kid, and I just remember hearing Rooster. So, very solid song. Adam did a damn good job with the cover. And of course it is live, so it fits into the category. And again, if you have not heard it, I'll put a link in the description. You need to check it out. But that is the 5 live songs and how I would rank them. But this video is not done. No. We're getting next to the officially released 3 Days Grace cover songs. We have 5. So sitting at number 5 for cover songs, we have Wicked Game by Chris Isaak. No, now this song is a very, very different side to 3 Days Grace. It's available on one of the special editions of 1X, and when I first listened to it, even now, it's a very different side of 3 Days Grace, and I don't mind that. But the song in itself, I'm just not a fan of it. So, and there's nothing else I can really say about it. I don't like Wicked Game. So that's why it's sitting at the very bottom of the cover songs list. But let's go ahead and move on to number 4. So at number 4, we have the Phantogram cover, You Don't Get Me High Anymore. Walk with me to the end. This is actually interesting. It was technically an officially released just cover single that they actually uploaded to their YouTube channel. There'll be a link in the description to it. You can check it out. And it's a very solid cover, and I've never heard the Phantogram version of it, the original version. But I believe it was Neil actually posted a lengthy description of the video that was uploaded, and he was talking about how they were just in the studio and Brad started to play the riff from the song, and they just decided to do an official cover of it. And it's a really good song. I just like the other 3 covers more. But sitting at number 3, we have The Chain, a Fleetwood Mac cover. And of course, this is Fleetwood Mac with Stevie Nicks. And if you don't love me now, you will. 3 Days Grace decided to cover The Chain, and again, it's a really solid cover. I very much enjoy it. It's even in, I have a playlist on the channel called Music I Frequently Listen to, and any song that I start listening to, a lot, frequently. It goes into that playlist, and link in the description, you can check that out. It's a public playlist, anyone can see what I'm listening to. And the chain actually got in it. Again, it's a very solid cover. I've always been a fan of Fleetwood Mac, going back to, listening to what my dad would listen to all the time. And yeah, I feel like I'm saying the same things a lot, but it's a really good cover, and link in the description if you want to hear it. But number 2, sitting at number 2, we have the Michael Jackson cover from Transit of Venus, Give In To Me.
Love is a feeling, give it when I want it.
Now this song, let me just say one thing. If you're a musician and you want to cover Michael Jackson or the Beatles, you have to be willing to knock it out of the effing park. You have to knock it out of the park if you want to cover MJ or the Beatles. And 30 Grace did exactly that. This is a very, 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 very solid cover of Give In To Me. And I absolutely love it. And I'll give you a secret. It originally was going to top the list, as I thought I was more inclined to come back to this song than the number 1 song, which you can probably guess at this point. But more than likely not. But again, Give In To Me is a very solid cover. I absolutely love it. And that's all I can say. But let's get to number 1. Number 1 for my favorite 3 Days Grace cover song, and that's but more likely Adam's rendition of Alice in Chains' Rooster.
And here they come to stop the rooster.
That's right, Rooster sits atop both the live and cover songs, but it's absolutely deserving of it. Adam did a phenomenal job covering this. And again, link in the description, you can check that out. It might even, again, I might play a few seconds of it in this video, but it is so solid. I absolutely love it. And for me, it's also got sentimental value as well. And it's a great song. I absolutely love it. But I'm not gonna hang on it too much more than that, as we have one more category to get to. In this category, the final one, is my favorite 3 Days Grace acoustic songs. And there are actually 6 of them for this category. And of course that fits perfect with the channel. And let's get into number 6. So my 6th favorite acoustic song is the stripped acoustic version of Animal I Have Become, the track from 1X. So the stripped acoustic version of this song actually came available on it's like you can buy it digitally with a special Pain single on iTunes. And it had Pain, and what becomes stripped acoustic, and I believe Pain stripped acoustic as well. And it's not a bad song, but for me, the stripped acoustic version of Animal I've Become, for me, it's way too similar to the original track. And knowing that, I would rather just listen to the original. And plus, of all the other acoustic songs, I just don't think it's the best. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it's not better than the other 5. But let's talk about number 5. So sitting at the 5th spot of the acoustic songs, we have the live acoustic version of I Hate Everything About You.
I hate everything.
Now this song, I already talked about it at the start of the video with the live songs category. It's supposed to be a Rolling Stone kind of version of it. I can't even, not version, but I can't even think of the word right way to put it. But it is a thing. I hate it, and it kind of suffers a little bit from the Animal I've Become situation for me, where it sounds very similar to the original rendition of the song, the studio recording, but in this case, it's actually different enough for me to not just want to listen to the original, but at the same time, I definitely think it is better than Animal I've Become. That's why it's sitting at number 5. compared to Animal Life Becomes, Stripped Acoustics, number 6. But I don't want to talk too much about this. I already talked about it earlier in the video, but it's a solid acoustic song, but it just doesn't do it for me all that much. But let's get to number 4. So sitting at number 4, we have just the acoustic version of I Hate Everything About You. That's right, there were 2, or technically 3 officially released versions of this song. We have the studio recording, the just studio acoustic recording, then the live acoustic recording.
I hate everything about you.
Now the acoustic recording is actually, it's a very, very, very solid rendition of the song. You've got Neil playing a hand drum. Adam's vocals here are just probably some of the better vocals on I Hate Everything About You. And that's kind of that's probably minority opinion, because Adam's just got great vocals in general, and a lot of people love the original rendition. But for me, I actually prefer the normal acoustic version of the song, but not by much. But let's get to number 3. So sitting at number 3 for me is the stripped acoustic version of Pain.
Pain, without enough pain, I can't get in.
And now Pain, the song from 1X, one of the leading singles from that album. It's a very, again, I say this so often in this video, but it's a very solid rendition of the song. And part of me actually does prefer the stripped acoustic version to the studio recording. But this one is a lot, it's a tighter competition compared to I Hate Everything About You. But the stripped acoustic version obviously is very good. You can actually tell that this is, it's stripped down, it's an acoustic version, whereas Animal Life Becomes, it's a lot harder to tell that. And I definitely would find value in listening to this compared to Pain. There's value in listening to both their studio and the stripped acoustic versions, instead of just, you don't need to listen to one because they sound the same pretty much. But again, I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but Pain's stripped acoustic version is number 3. Now number 2. So sitting at number 2, we have the live acoustic version of Drown.
If I needed someone to control me, if I needed someone to...
And I already talked about this during the live section earlier in the video, but this song, hearing it, turned my opinion on the studio recording of Drown completely on its head, and I actually like both versions now instead of just the live acoustic version. So yeah, and because I already talked about it, I'm not going to spend too much more time on it besides saying that I would definitely recommend listening to it. And number 1, my favorite 3 Days Grace acoustic song, it's probably an obvious one, but it is Never Too Late Acoustic.
Even if I stay, it'll be alright.
So the funny thing about this song is Never Too Late is already essentially an acoustic song, except for the chorus when they bring in the electric guitars. But when you strip away the electric guitars, and it does something to the song that makes it even more emotional. And Adam's vocals on it, this is, if I had to pick one song from this whole set, from all 16 that I'm ranking in this video, I would say listen to either Never Too Late Acoustic or Adam's rendition of Rooster. Either one of those. I mean, all of them are deserving of a listen at least once, but Never Too Late Acoustic is such honestly, I 100% prefer the acoustic version to the normal version. It's just such a solid song. I absolutely love it. You should definitely listen to it if you have not. But that is the live songs, the cover songs, and the acoustic songs of 3 Days Grace, all officially released. So if there's something missing I'm sorry, but this is everything from my own research that I found was officially released by the band in some capacity. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, share it on social media, do all that good stuff. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.